real estate. I've had success in real estate with Strongbrook and Limitless, and things are just going very fast, very quickly, and we're progressing really fast, and we're reaching out to you guys to join and have lots of fun with us. You guys ready to have fun with us? Oh, yeah. All right. So tonight I get to introduce to you, sorry, I got to be the rock star. I'm going to introduce to you a good friend of mine, Gary Norris, done real estate on his own for a long time. Very creative real estate. Up in Idaho, he rocked it. He did an awesome job finding out how to do real estate, and he learned the ins and outs of it, worked with tons of people, and he continues to rock the real estate world. And I learn from this man all the time. And he's got a big heart. And he loves a lot of people. And he extends that love to you guys tonight. And I just invite you to open your hearts to what he has to give you. And really pay attention to your intuition and how real estate can help you. So, let's give, hold on a minute, wait. Before we bring up Gary, I just want to let you know that real estate, a job for me, here, let me stand over here, a job for me didn't pay for my dreams. And I got to a point where I was going to lunch, 2008, right? Downturn in the market, and people were asking, if you lost your job, what would you do? I said, I don't know. I found the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and learned, hey, maybe real estate. And from that time on, as I've studied real estate and I've studied successful people, I've learned that real estate really does pay for your dreams. It's pretty awesome. Okay? So think about your dreams. What do you want? And that's your why to do real estate. Okay, let's stand up and give a warm welcome and applause for Gary Norris.
Oh, nice. I'm going to put this down so we may use it. I'll let you hold it, just in case you want to pass it around. That it stays away from me and doesn't make that weird noise. I also, when it does that, I'm always afraid I'm going to get shocked, like the big electrical sound of the mics. How's everyone doing tonight? So most of you have been here like for 2 days, is that correct? Couple stragglers coming in just for tonight, like makes me feel special, right? I appreciate that. I am really excited to be here. Is there anyone in the room that is an active investor, real estate investor? Awesome. Any active real estate agents? Yes, I am one as well now. Any attorneys? Good. No, I'm just kidding. And they're live streaming, so I got to be careful still because it is being recorded. So darn it, turn that off, will you? No, I'm just kidding. It's I have a lot of fun talking to people about real estate investing. I have a lot of fun doing real estate investing, and I have a lot of fun seeing other people succeed in real estate investing. And for me, it's just been a fun journey on my own. But even though it's been a journey, it doesn't mean it's always been good. Because although I've done really, really, really good in real estate, I've also done really, 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 really bad in real estate. And I was a self-taught person for a while, and then I went and got a lot of education, and I got a lot more education, and I still ended up kind of crashing and burning. And my rebound started in 2011 when I was recovering after losing 3 homes to foreclosure of my own out of the 13 homes that I had. But the year before, I helped 35 families avoid foreclosure by buying their home before the auction and get the bank to approve a short sale. And so I did really, really well in 2010. 2011, I went from making hundreds of thousands of dollars to losing 3 homes and making that year less than like $27,000 in income in just a year. It was such a huge correction. Has anyone experienced financial reset? Somebody raise your hand, but does that go on in America? Has it gone in the last 8 years? It really has. It's a cycle, but it really hit hard. So what I want to do tonight is just share, I have like an hour that I wanted to just share some content with you on really why we do real estate. And by show of hands, are you interested in learning how to do real estate as an investment? Okay. And how many of you live in a home right now? Whether you rent or whether you own, do you live in a home? No one lives in a van down by the river? All right, so you all, whether you know it or not, you are in real estate right now. Every one of you are in real estate. You're either in real estate paying to be in real estate, or you're in real estate getting paid to be in real estate. And if you own your own home, you're still paying to be in real estate, but you are also able to get paid by being in real estate. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes, but truly through depreciation or through writing off the interest on your own home mortgage if you have it. Therefore, you can technically classify yourself as saving on taxes is like getting paid, if you ask me. So real estate's a very, very powerful tool. Can you see that okay with the lights on, with the lights like that? Okay. So a lot of it has to do with mindset. And I would say when people say, man, what is the key to success in real estate investing? I would say it's about 90% mindset and 10% real estate. And at first, I never thought that. At first, I thought it doesn't matter how your mindset is. It's all about real estate. In fact, before I became an investor, in 2001, I did my first deal. Prior to that, I thought I could never be an investor. I wouldn't want to be an investor because real estate investors are people who take advantage of unfortunate people. And so we're going to real estate investing because they're dirty, rotten scoundrels. That is what I thought. And I thought they just knew tricks and they were shysters and they took advantage of people. Because why would an investor want a deal unless it was all about him? That was my mindset. I then learned that no, an investor like I am and I became, I learned that I can help people, and if I can help someone solution, that I could profit from it, and they would be happy, and I would be happy, and I could create a win-win. And then when I first started investing, I had this other broken mindset. And then my mindset was, well, I'm an investor and I can be good, but most investors are bad. I'm a good one, but most are bad. In fact, I thought when I first started investing, there's no way I would do a deal with another investor because how can they get a win and how can I get a win when we're after the same thing, a deal? So if an investor has a deal for me, I need to run from it because it must not be a deal for me if it's a good thing for him and he wants to do it, and vice versa. I learned huge lessons that that is not true. In fact, after my first year or two in real estate, I found that I got most of my value networking with other investors, and that networking with other investors is how I've made all my money in real estate, all of it. I found that I did like 60 deals in a row without using my own money or my own credit. Not my money, not my credit, but I was doing real estate deals, partnering with other investors. Could have been their money, could have been that one's credit, but learning how to do it in a way that would help and bless both parties. Can you create win-wins like that? You really can. I hope that if I can impress anything upon you tonight, it would be that. You really can create win-wins in real estate with other people, with homeowners, with investors, and it could be multiple wins in one deal. Just the difference between an employee and the wealthy and how they think. I just want to run through it real quick. The employee would say, you need to save your money, but the wealthy say you need to leverage other people's money. An employee thinks, well, you need to do it yourself, but the wealthy say, no, you need to leverage other people's time. An employee might say, well, wealth is defined by your possessions, but the wealthy think different. Wealth is defined by your assets and your cash flow. The employee or the uneducated might say, well, education, that's valued by getting a degree, which I value degrees. But that's not how the wealthy think. The wealthy, they value their education by knowledge and applying the knowledge with or without the degree. It's not the degree that makes you smart. It's knowledge you experience along the way and learning how to apply that knowledge that can create wealth. I know a degree can make someone smart, but there's a lot of smart people that aren't wealthy too. And I know a lot of dumb people that are wealthy. Dumb in the sense of they don't have the brain smarts to get through a college degree. I have a college degree. It took me 6.5 years to get my 4-year degree. So I wasn't a doctor. I just barely graduated. And I was a C student in high school, a B plus student maybe, or a C plus student maybe. It wasn't a B plus. My GPA was a 3.04, so is that B minus? I just knew it was over a 3.0. 3.04 is barely a B. And I got out of, that was my college. My high school was like 2.7. My college degree was 3.04. And I probably maybe forgot to put that O on a couple of resumes, 3.40. Oh, I'm sorry, inverted that number, 3.04. So I wasn't that smart, but that was okay. Employees say you need to work hard. What do the wealthy say? Build systems, use systems. Big difference. I found this company called Strongbrook 5 years ago when I was investing up in Idaho, losing everything in 2011. Then I learned of Strongbrook and thought, whoa, when I learned what they did with real estate, how many of you in this room know Strongbrook makes a ton of money in real estate? How many of you know that that's where Chris Crone achieved his wealth, is through real estate? And the Strongbrook program has been going now for 9 years, and they've helped clients from all 50 states do real estate, over literally thousands of deals. Thousands of deals. I've helped people buy 500 homes by just referring them to Strongbrook over 5 years. Either I directly referred them, or once I referred someone, they might have referred someone. And those people have trickled out over 5 years and have purchased over 500 homes through their program. And so for me as an entrepreneur, I thought when I saw Strongbrook's program in real estate, I'm like, I got to plug into this thing because they have this 40, 50, $60 million machine, and I don't want to create it in Idaho where I lived. I could just plug people into that and they would pay me a thank you check, and I could plug myself into it and do investing with them while I did my own investing. And I could have my cake and eat it too. And so I started thinking that way myself, like I need to plug into a system that works. How many's been to a Limitless 3-day event? Most everyone has. That's kind of plugging into a system and reprogramming your mind, reprogramming the way you think, reprogramming the beliefs that you may have held that have been wrong for your whole life. And tapping into a system like that for $500 for a 3-day weekend, or sometimes 99, or sometimes 69, or sometimes for $1 and sometimes for free, is an amazing way to plug yourself in and change your whole life. Chris has done like over 300,000, and Gerald over hundreds of thousands, maybe even over $1 million combined in personal development through their own mentors that they've sought out throughout their life. And they've tapped it and have shared it through this Limitless program that we can just plug into for $99 a month. It's amazing. And refer people to it and get paid when we do it. It's kind of amazing. Well, they have the same type of a program in real estate. I just kind of wanted to give you this idea that the importance is your mindset. And that's why Limitless is so important, because your broken beliefs about money need to change if they're not healthy. And if you can change your broken beliefs about money, you will find that you can succeed in anything, even if it's not real estate. Whatever you want to do in life, you can find success. It's a belief. And then follow belief, take some action and some commitment, and boom, you can get amazing results. How about a reality check? This is today's 65-year-olds. 54% of the 65-year-olds in America are considered dependent on government or church or family. Over half of the 65-year-olds. 36% are still working, 5% are dead. Some call them the lucky 5% because they're out. That's rude, sorry. 4% are considered financially independent, and that's a $36,000 yearly income. Social Security part, or the government statistics would say you're financially okay at $36,000 a year. 1%, that little sliver, are considered wealthy. 1%. So I would dare ask you, the 1% that are wealthy, where do they get their wealth? How do they get it? This is a roadmap right here. This is a big signal. If this is true and I just turned 50, if this is true and you're 30 or you're 25 or you're 41, here's the future that is a reality for most 65-year-olds. What is it going to look like when I get there? I want to be in the 1% wealthy club. How did they do it? The wealthy 1%. 10% of the wealthy 1% are the salespeople. 10% are CEOs and lawyers. 10% of the wealthy, or 5% of the wealthy 1% they're the salespersons. Let's see, CEOs and presidents, doctors and attorneys, those are the 10%. 5% of the wealthy 1% are salesmen. 1% are the lottery winners in life, those that got an inheritance. How's that working out for everybody? Did not work out for me. My grandma passed away, and when my grandmother passed away, my dad said, my mom was so proud because she got to leave $1,000 with each of her children. And she was so proud of herself. And I was proud of her for that too. That to her was a major legacy. So I know someone in my family that got an inheritance. My dad got $1,000. It's important to my grandma. Imagine what that did to me to motivate me and what I might want to be able to leave as a legacy. Not money to my kids or my grandkids necessarily, but a legacy. I want to be in this wealthy 1%. Well, the big green piece, 74%, where are they getting their wealth from? 74% of the wealthy 1% make their money as business owners or real estate investors. Government statistic. And of those 74%, if they aren't creating their wealth in real estate and they're creating it with a different business, where do you think they're putting their wealth from that business? Into real estate. Because real estate has major benefits to it. I call real estate the ideal investment. I like it because it's an acronym, and I love acronyms. We're going to talk about this in each one of these for a minute. Income, deductions, equity, appreciation, leverage. It really is an ideal investment because you can tap into so many things with the vehicle of real estate. So I look at income and I break it into two pieces. I call it massive income and I call it passive income. You can create massive income by flipping a house or flipping a business or flipping an apartment complex or doing a short-term type of a strategy, such as assigning contracts, fixing and flipping, rehabbing, doing short sales, pre-foreclosures. Those aren't things that you hold for years. They're things that you hold for a short time, and you can get a check for $10,000, $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 per deal. Massive amounts of chunks of income. And once you get massive amounts of chunks of income, then it would be smart to go into the second phase, and that's passive income, or what's called long-term strategies. Maybe you're going to buy and hold rentals, or do lease options for several years, or take properties with seller financing in place, or subject to. Are those terms anyone's familiar with? Taking a home subject to? That's weird. I remember the first time I did a subject to deal, I didn't know it was a subject to deal till I did the deal. And I was with my buddy Jason, and we're like, oh my gosh, this was a subject to. We've taken courses on how to do a subject to. A subject to is kind of simple. It means buying a property from an owner who lives in the home and is going to move out of their home. And for whatever reason, they can't sell it or it's in disrepair, and I can buy it subject to the financing that you already have on the home. You have a mortgage on that home? I'll buy your home subject to that financing. You could move, and I will take over the responsibility of your home and the financing. We get an escrow company to take over making the payments so your loan gets paid every month, and I don't need a bank to approve me or disapprove me to qualify for a loan because the loan is already in place. Seller financing is very much like that, except for I might give you money to, and the seller financing could be, you could owe $100,000 on your home, but it could be worth $200,000, for example. And I could give you $10,000 down, and you'll carry another note for $90,000, seller financing, and I'll just assume your other $100,000 mortgage. Now I got two payments. I gave you $10,000 bucks. I'm going to give you money every month for the $90,000 I borrowed from you. So you're my bank, and I'm going to make your mortgage payment for the other $100,000. And if it makes sense, and after I make your mortgage payment and your payment to you, if those two payments and all the taxes and property, et cetera, all the expenses add up to less than what I could maybe rent that home for, then it could be a good deal. Because I could put a renter in that home who could pay me $1,200 a month, and my expenses for you are $1,000 a month, and I can make $200 a month by just giving you $10,000 to buy your house. And I didn't need to go to a bank that would have told me I needed to have 20% down, which would have been more than $10,000. It would have been $30,000 more.
What about repairs like roofs and stuff like that?
Good question. What about repairs and roofs and things like that? Any home that is a problem, those are the deals I like to find, because you have to take that into consideration. And that's why some people can't sell their home or don't feel like they can, because they don't have the money to do the repairs. And they feel like they can't hire a real estate agent until the repairs are made, or their home may not be worth, after they do all the repairs, their home may not be worth it compared to what they owe on it. And there's many different reasons why people would say, I've got a problem. And that's where we as investors can come in and provide solutions. I'll talk about one where I did that very thing in a few minutes, and that I made $31,000 off a deal that cost me nothing out of my pocket. We just kept it subject to the financing that was in place. Did you have a comment? Oh, okay. You should go to the auctions or be careful, because you move and I'm like, sold. No, I thought you had a question, sorry. All right, so what and why of the passive income? What is passive income? Anyone? Money that flows to you every month. Mailbox, money. Rent, checks, right? Passive income. Why do we want passive income?
Free up our time.
Free up our time. Chris talks about this, does he not? Freedom, financial freedom. When your passive income that comes in exceeds your monthly expenses just to live, when you get to that point, you have what they call financial freedom. You really have the freedom to do what you want, because passively you have enough income coming in to cover your expenses. Now, it doesn't mean that's what you want. You might want more than that. And you might want to keep working and keep doing massive income deals and grow your passive income until it's 2, 3, 4, 10, 100 times more than your expenses. And then you can retire. But definition-wise, you are financially free. You have a choice to do what you want. Taxes. You want passive income because you're taxed differently when you have it. And if you do your taxes on your own, when you become an investor, I would highly encourage you to stop doing taxes on your own unless you are a tax expert. And I wouldn't recommend going to the H&R Block guy. I would recommend you find an attorney, or a CPA that knows the real estate benefits when it comes to taxes. It will bless your life. Why do we want it? You want to get out of the rat race, right? Get out of the rat race. Working for profits, not for wages. This is what the wealthy do. I want to work for profits. I don't need to work for wages. I don't need to be determined. I don't need to put in an hour to get an hour's wage. I want to work smart so that when I put in my time, or I'm not putting my time, I have profits coming in regardless, passively. So when you go on a trip to Bali, your business is still making you money. Yes?
You also need to have passive income. I do dangerous things. If I hurt myself, my income stops. Even though it's not an hourly income, they're bigger chunks because I did jobs. If I hurt myself,
Very good.
it stops. But if I have passive income and I hurt myself,
So passive income is there as a protection for you. If you do dirty job or risky jobs, or you have a dangerous activity, if you get disabled with your work and you are no longer able to work, if you have passive income that is exceeding your expenses, when you become disabled, you're safe, you're protected. It's a hedge.
if you have a regular job and there's a restructuring or a downturn, something like that, which I've experienced in the past,
Yes.
then all of a sudden you're thinking, how long can I live where I'm
Yes.
at until money's gone?
That is correct. So there's the big reason right there why passive income is such a winner. It is a true winner. So what and the whys of deductions? So we talk about the ideal investment, income, passive and massive income. D stands for deductions. Why do you need deductions? What are real estate deductions? When you own a rental, you are in business. You are a business owner. You don't have to form an LLC or an S Corp. You can be a sole proprietor, but you are a business owner, and when you're deductions with your taxes. Ordinary business deductions, phone, advertising, marketing, travel, it's all deductible off of your income. If you have $20,000 worth of expenses that you can deduct from your income, and you may have had a $70,000 income and you can deduct $20,000 of it off for expenses, you may get taxed on only $50,000 worth of income. That's huge. It could put you in a different income tax bracket and you would pay less taxes as well. Many reasons. And depreciation deduction. Do you know that when you're an investor and you own a home, you can write it off because they allow you to, because they just, things when you buy them, they wear out. They figure your home's gonna wear out. When you buy a car and drive it off the lot and it's brand new, what happens to the value of your car? Goes down. It depreciates in value. And the next year, your car is worth more or less? It's less again. And the next year, it's worth less again. If you're a business and you have a big $15,000 copier in your business, for your business, you have that and you can expense that on your taxes as a deduction, because next year, that copier is more worn out than it was the year before, and you can write off part of that with a deduction through your accounting. The same applies for a house. Even though a house over time does what in value? It goes up in value over time. But over time, you're allowed to depreciate it while it's going up in real value. And this difference is what they call, it starts with an E, equity. Exactly. I love real estate. Give you a quick example. You're allowed to depreciate your property for 27 and a half years. How they came up with that number, I actually don't know. But some accountant figured it out, right? So let's talk about equity and appreciation. Equity, that's the difference between the value of your property versus what you owe on the mortgage. That's your equity position. I owe $100,000, but it's worth $200,000, so I have an extra $100,000 of equity. Well, does that $100,000 pay you? It doesn't pay you at all. It's just there, and you can say, hey, I got a $100,000 net worth from one house, but it doesn't pay you anything. It could be the home you're living in. You could buy a home and pay it off over 30 years, and your home could be worth $300,000. You may not even have a mortgage, and you can say, I have a $300,000 net worth, but it doesn't pay you jack. What if you took that home and leveraged it with a loan and took that money and went and bought 3 properties? Well, but I can't do that because I'm supposed to live in a home or with no mortgage. I'm taught to do that with my church beliefs possibly. And now I need to be out of debt. Well, I could take that $300,000 home, pull $200,000 out, and it may cost me now $1,500 a month. Maybe, I don't know what it'll be. It wouldn't be that much, but I'll just call it $1,500 a month. If I could take $200,000, I could go pay cash for 3 houses possibly, for sure too. Or I could go buy 3 or 4 homes and leverage them. But I guarantee you, when I go buy these homes, I then can get rent coming in that will exceed the expense on those homes and make the payment on my home that I didn't have before, and possibly put more in my pocket every month, a little extra. And now I'm leveraging maybe 4 homes. And these 3 over here, see that? These 3 over here, I need to learn how to count. These 3 over here are my investment properties, and they're growing in value, and I'm writing them off, and I'm able to do my depreciation on those. And on this home, I'm living in it still, and now that $300,000 worth of equity, it's paying me, and it's growing me 3 investment properties. That's just one strategy. It's one that Stromberg helps many people do. Average appreciation in America is 6.34% nationwide. Local appreciation obviously varies by the area and the market. Does real estate always appreciate though? It doesn't always appreciate. Sometimes it depreciates, right? The market can even crash, right? But if you look at the states, more than it depreciates, and real estate values go up over time, on average of 6% a year. So if you buy a home right, yeah, it beats inflation. If you buy a home right, you can ride out the rough times. If you buy a home wrong, When the rough times come, it can take you out. Ask me how I know that. I got taken out in 2011 because I was buying homes wrong. Sometimes way wrong. We can talk about that too. Power of leverage. I love this. So if you had $10,000 and you just wanted to put it in a bank and save money, are there some people that's all they do? They'll put it in a bank, a CD, stocks, bonds. They'll never get out and risk it too much. They just want to stay safe. $10,000 in a savings account, which you'll never get 3% a year, but if you did, you'll make $300 in 1 year. $10,000 in CDs, if you really got 4 to 6%, which I think right now it's about 0.5%, you could get 4 to 6. I'm just painting a rosy picture. $400 to $600 on your $10,000 in a year. If you put it in a mutual fund and got 7 to 12%, and some can do that, some can get you 20, you could make $700, $1,200 a year on your 10 grand. Or you could be really awesome at investing, and you can do a great stock pick and get a 20% gain in 1 year, and your 10,000 could become 12,000. Would that be awesome? That is really awesome. 2,000 more dollars on my 10,000 in 1 year is a 20% return. Well, that's not leveraging anything. You put $10,000 into stock and your $10,000 is used. No leverage. This is why we like to leverage. Say there's a home and it's for sale for $200,000. That's your purchase price to get in that home. And say you're going to invest $10,000 into that home and you're going to finance or leverage someone else's $190,000, like a bank's. I'm going to move into a home, I'll put $10,000 down, and I will get a mortgage or financing for the other $190,000. And let's just say the average home appreciates 6.34% every year. 6% appreciation dollars, or is it on your $200,000? Your 6% appreciation is on your home, not your money you put into the home. So your $200,000 home goes up by 6.34% in a year. Your $200,000 home is now worth, I didn't put it on there, $212,630. That's your new home value in 1 year. You only put $10,000 in the deal, but your home went up $12,630. The return on your $10,000 is 127%. Your $10,000 went into an investment, and a year later, it was worth you get your $10,000 back plus $12,630. That's over 100% return. Is that good leverage? Okay, can I really blow your mind? I'm going to blow your mind. If this doesn't blow your mind, I'll be sad. Here's the deal. What if I find the deal? And what if I know it's a deal? And maybe it's going to be your home, and you're in a tough time, and I'm going to get your home, and I know that the home is a good deal, and I'm going to help you out and solve your problem, take over the payments on your home, but all I need is 10 grand. So I'm going to go over here and say, dude, you got $10,000 on you because I found a deal, and we can share on this. I found the deal. I'll put the whole deal together. Give me your 10 grand. We'll go in on it 50-50 even. And I'll take care of everything, and you just be my silent partner. Deal? He's like, deal, Gary, I like you, I trust you, sure. And now I go do the deal with his $10,000. If we split it 50-50, that means it's $6,000, $6,315 each, right? Half of that 12,000. What's his return on his 10,000? He put the money into it, and he got 6,000 back after 10, so he got like a 60% return. What was my return? I made $6,000 too, and I had how much into the deal? 0. So what's my return? Infinite. It's not a 6,000%. Nothing into it. I went from nothing to $6,000 for nothing. That's a percentage return. You can't calculate that. Now, if that doesn't go whoa in your mind, you need to wake up, do something. That is amazing. Because what if you do that and it's something that you can repeat over and over and over? When I did my 35 short sales in 2010, I think that was the year I did those, before I lost my homes, I made $330,000 flipping other people's homes who were going into foreclosure, and before it was foreclosed on, I got the bank to agree to sell it to me at a discount, and then they had to move out of their home and go on. They were going to anyways because they were losing it, and I was able to then clean the title up on that home and resell the home, in some cases, the same day I bought it. But I never used my money once on any of those deals. I had partners, and it was their money. And they were really happy because they would give me their money for sometimes 36 hours, and they would get their $130,000 back after 36 hours, and I would give them $5,000 for that. Well, I made 30 grand, and they made $5,000, and their money was out at risk for 3 days. That's a great return. If you look at someone's $100,000 to make $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 in 3 days, if you put that on a year, that's a huge return. But for me, it was infinite. Times $300,000 I made 1 year with not using any of my money, any of my credit. And we helped a lot of families. Now, the next year, I lost 3 homes to foreclosure. Lost everything. No, not everything. My wife stayed with me. My daughter did not commit suicide, even though she tried. So I was blessed. Had a big correction. We can understand the power of leverage there. Does that make sense? This is leverage that I experienced. I think that check was written April, I don't remember, April, the date's right there, but it was in April, 2 months ago. $31,000 because there was a family in Orem, Utah that needed to move, and they had a problem with their house. It didn't need a roof, but it needed a lot. It needed carpet, paint, countertops, light fixtures, toilets. They were hoarders. It was in bad shape. It was a nice home built in 1992, but it had been rugged and worn down, and they needed to move immediately to Oregon, and they didn't have the time, money, or mental capacity, meaning they were too stressed out, to find a way to get the home fixed, painted, carpets redone, get a realtor in it. They need to be gone in 30 days. They were in my neighborhood. I went and told them, I'd like to buy your house. What do you want? $190,000. I'll give you $190,000. It was worth $190,000 if they would clean all it up, do all that cleanup. And I said, I'll give you $190,000. You don't have to do anything to that home. They're like, really? I'm like, well, what do you owe on it? They said $160,000. So I'm like thinking in my head, I know they're making $30,000. If I buy it for $190,000 and they don't have to do anything and have no realtor to sell it, they're going to make $30,000 when I give them $190,000, right? Because they only owe $160,000. So I said, I'll come back tomorrow and we'll talk about the details. So when they went to bed that night, what were they counting in their sleep? They were counting $30,000. They were counting, oh my gosh, this guy came over. He said he would take care of our house, just take our house as is for $190,000, and we could leave now, and we're gonna make $30,000 like tomorrow probably when he comes back. They were excited. I went home and talked to my wife and told her we got to do this deal and hope she would agree with it. So I had something to do for myself, because I had 3 homes I lost to foreclosure in 2011, and I'm in Orem, Utah now. This is 2.5 years ago when I got this house. I'm in Orem, Utah thinking I can't get a loan because the bank doesn't like me because I don't have credit, so I can't get a mortgage in my name. I don't even have a credit score. I do now, because I just bought another house, but I didn't have a credit score. I was a total financial reset. But I'd help people do this 50 times. So I came back to them the next day and I said, here's how this could work. I like giving people exactly what they're asking for if they could do it on the terms that work for me. Sometimes people need the terms to work for them, and then I just need to have the price work for me. But in this case, I'll give you your price if you'll give me my terms. And they're like, what does that mean? I said to them, well, here's what I'd like to propose. You could leave now and go to Oregon. All I require is that you have the house empty. They were hoarders and other things. I'm like, get the animals out and empty the house, and everything else you can leave as is. You couldn't see the carpet except path countertop on their table. It was like you couldn't see the tabletop because of the junk on there. It was just around cats and grandkids and a daughter and the daughter's husband, and this couple wanted to move. And why were they moving? Because their daughter keeps coming back to the nest. She's married, she has a family, and she keeps circling back into the nest, and they're sad, they want to help her, and they're thinking we need to just move far away, and then she won't come back to the nest. So he was a pharmacist. They sought a job transfer, and the job transfer happened immediately with a promotion. And they're like, I got to go in 30 days and start working. That was their situation. So I said, why don't we do this? We'll give you the $190,000. What we're going to do is just keep the mortgage in your name. We'll buy it subject to the existing financing. What's your payment? It's $1,200. So we'll make your $1,200 payment. That's my house payment now, $1,200. You want $190? You owe $160? Tell you what, we'll give you $190, but we want to do better than that. What I'm going to do is not give you the $190 yet. Let us move into the home. We'll, with our money, fix it all up. And we're going to live in it for a couple years, up to 3 years. It was a 36-month contract. And then at that point, we'll buy it. And if we don't buy it, we'll just sell it. But either way, we'll get it appraised. And whatever it's worth, that's what we'll buy it for. But here's how I want to split it up. You get the first $190. That makes them $30,000. I get the next $20,000 because that's what I'm putting into this house. And after that, we're at $210,000. Whatever the house sells for, we'll split it 50-50. The house sold for $239,000. So when I sold the house right there, they got their $30,000, I got my $20,000, then they got $13,500 more, and I got $13,500 more. So I got my $20,000 back, plus the $13,500 minus my closing costs. I paid all of them. There was no real estate commission. I was left with $31,000, and they were left with like $47,000 instead of $30,000. Was that a win-win? It just took them 2.5 years to get paid. But it worked out perfectly. They were able to leave, and I was able to take over, and we just gutted the house and rebuilt it. And not rebuilt it, just redid it. Paint, carpet, granite, kitchen, fun stuff. So we sold it. It was a good deal. No bank needed. Just creative ways to think. That's illegal stuff that you can do by helping people. That's why I don't mind roofs. That's why I don't mind toilets that are ruined. I don't mind roaches. I don't mind fire. I don't mind. My partner did a home that had a triple homicide. Then he set the house on fire. Then he killed himself. That house, they fixed it up, and they lived in it for 2 years, and then they sold it because it had a big story about it. Imagine being the family that wants to buy that house, right? And you may or may not have to disclose that when you list it. They chose to disclose it. Different states have different rules. It was a great house. They made $60,000 when they sold it. But they had to go in there and patch up the bullet holes and clean up the fire mess. And, it's a sad deal. But a realtor doesn't want to list that house. The homeowners sometimes just want to walk away from their troubles so investors can go in there and help create win-win solutions.
On this, this particular one, you didn't use a bank, so how does that work, I guess?
So I didn't use a bank because I didn't need to use a bank because they had a mortgage in place.
You have some legal documents that are all signed?
I sat down at their table and I wrote a proposal on a piece of paper with a pen. And everything I told you is what I just said on paper. And then I went and talked to the title company attorney, and I said, this is what we want to do. We need to get a contract financing in place, go to a title company, make it all legal, and go from there. So things you learn how to do. But the thing is, it's doable. If you don't know how to do it, you want to seek learning so you can learn how to do it. Would that be true?
So was the title signed over to you?
In this situation, the title, I would have been put on title with them. As what we did is we put the home in an LLC, and then we were both owners of the LLC, and that went on to title. Does that make sense? Could have been a trust, could have been a land trust, there's several ways you can do it. That's just how we did it. Yes?
So you say you don't have to use your credit at all, but during this, you build your credit as well as the other ones.
So yeah, we'll use Delwyn's got a mic right there. So we'll start using the mic, but I'll repeat your question. You say you don't have to use my credit. I didn't have credit. I didn't need credit for that. But what I'm doing over time for 2.5 years, well, since 2011 until this year, I have to build my credit up, and time has to go by for foreclosures to fall off your credit report, for banks to say you seem safe now. We make a lot of money, but we're at risk because we can't even get a debit card. When we moved here, we couldn't go to a credit union and open up a checking account when we first moved here 5 years ago, because credit unions are like, you're risky. Like, I have checks for $10,000 a month. I want to deposit, but you won't even let me open an account. I had to go to a bank. Now credit unions like us and banks like us, but over time you have to rebuild. That's okay, and that's the That's what everyone does. So all the people I put in homes that I own, they can't get loans now, so they rent to own them from me until they can get their mortgage in place. We help our rent to own tenants repair their credit. Strongbrook has a credit repair company that they use that you all can have access to. And it could cost a tenant to repair their credit over 2 years while they're living in the home, but would it be worth it to me to share with them that? And I'll say, I'll pay for your credit repair. You've got to do these certain conditions and meet these parameters, and then your credit will get built up. You'll be in a position to buy my home when your lease option is up, or you can choose not to, but hopefully it won't be because you can't qualify. So we just help them. That help answer that question? Okay, did you have another comment? We'll get a microphone real quick. You, and then you, and I'm down to 25 minutes, so I got to get going. Unless you guys want to stay later.
The rent-to-own option that Stonebrook has.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know more about that.
I'll tell you more in a bit. There is a ton more. Like we just did a day training Tuesday. Dylan was there for people that are in the Limitless real estate community, and we did a full day of training on these types of strategies. And you're going to find out as I get to it that we have an entire program that teaches you and mentors you and coaches you and trains you how to learn all of this stuff if it's something you're interested in doing. This is what Strongbrook has. Go ahead.
Yes, my question is, now you're very versed in doing a lot of real estate deals, but what about the legalities of contracts? You just have the title company do that, or do you yourself write up the contracts and make it, like, how does that all work?
Good question. So I'm not an attorney, nor am I a CPA, nor am I a financial planner. And so even tonight, I'm not giving legal opinions. I'm not giving my opinions, my experiences. And I will tell everyone just what I even give myself, my own advice: seek legal counsel. So I have an attorney that I have a CPA that I use, and I go to title companies who have their own attorneys, and sometimes I can save money by going to a title company. Highland Title is a really good one, by the way, in Orem, and say, here's what I'm doing with this house. We need to structure it so you guys, when we come to buy it in 2 years or sell it, exit out of our agreement, I want it to be legal with you guys, so can you help me with the preparation of the paperwork? And they're like, yeah, we could do that, and that just saved me $1,000 of attorney fees, because they went to their attorneys and had it drawn up.
So you're leveraging that.
I'm leveraging other people's knowledge, legal fees, et cetera, leveraging the title company. Yes, good question. So no, I don't do it, nor do I know how to do it. I kind of know how to go about it. I can point anyone in the right direction, and at the end of the day, that's all I'm doing, pointing you in a direction, and then you need to go do it on your own. I'm not going to talk about this, just wanted to be there, just kind of inspire you to expand your mind. We talked a little bit about this on Tuesday at our training. Land development, spec homes, commercial property, single family homes, that's what I specialize in. But there's multiplexes, there's foreclosures, rehabs, fix, there's all flips, there's all sorts of ways to do real estate. I have a friend that owns trailer parks. I have another friend that owns a couple storage units. Great real estate, passive income, storage units. My friend that owns trailer parks, he owns the land and he owns the trailers. These trailers, he always does them that are built before or after 1970, I think it's 78, because pre-78 trailers have something in it that he just stays away from for legal reasons. I don't even remember what it is. But he does 78 and newer trailers. He'll some type of wiring. He'll lease option them all day long to people who most of the time never will buy the home, because most trailer park residents, they want to improve, and they're there for a couple years and they find out that they can move on later and they choose to, and he just takes another person in and they do a lease option with that person. And they're huge for very little money. Huge. Anyways, those are stuff that we cover. I just want to open your mind to, like, wow, there's a lot more out there than just single family homes. How do you know a deal is a deal? How do you know if there's such a thing as a good deal? This is just a general rule of thumb. I just want to tell you real quick, just because it's nice. I look at it as per door. If I'm doing a house, if it makes $100 a month, it's at least positive cash flow. I would look at it to see if it's a deal. It doesn't mean it's a deal. It means I'll take the time to go explore it. So how do I know? Okay, it might be a $200,000 home that could rent for $1,600. And if after all my expenses, if I roughly figure out the math on that, $200,000, what would a payment be, and taxes and insurance and blah, 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 and then rent $1,600. If it makes me, if my expenses are $1,500 or less, I will look at that, see if it's a deal. If it's not $100 a deal, a door, I won't look at it, because I don't want to be in a risky situation if the market goes down to have to make payments. I want cash flow of at least $100 per door. So if it's a fourplex, I want the fourplex to give me $400 a month, because there's 4 doors. Make sense? Or I wanted to meet the 1% rule. The 1% rule is, what is your purchase price? And 1% of that price, if you can rent it for that, it's worth looking at to see if it's a deal. A $100,000 home, will it rent for $1,000? If it will, I'm going to look at it, see if it's a deal. If it won't, I won't even look at it, because it's not a deal by my my quick and easy litmus test. Property inspection, yeah, I wholeheartedly recommend you do a property inspection. Have I done it without doing it? Yes. Has it bit me? Yes. Do I always do it? No. Should I? Yes. So don't do what I say. Say what I do. No, don't do what I, yeah. Never mind, they didn't hear that there. I've learned that it's very worthwhile to always do property inspections, and I have been bit before. That's called due diligence, my friends. There could be hidden expenses in homes that you don't even think about. I like to watch the property flipping shows on HGTV and different things, and they never even and sometimes you can't really examine a home until after you buy it, but sometimes you can, and these people don't. They're walking through the home, and they're like, hey, it looks great, let's get it. And then they find these disasters. I'm like, if you're in a house, you can have someone come and take a look at it, and then go buy it. Anyways, what's your cost for the money, et cetera, et cetera? Where's the mic? Right here.
I think I was out to lunch. What did you say the 1% rule is?
1% rule, if the home costs $100,000 to buy, and if it'll rent for 1% of that, $1,000 a month, that meets my parameter of saying, hey, that could be a deal, I want to go look closer. If it doesn't fit the 1% rule, I might say I'm not going to try looking at that. That's just one of them. The other one is, will it at least cash? If it won't be the 1% rule, like if it's a $300,000 home, it's probably not going to rent for $3,000, but will it make me $100 a month in cash flow? Those are my 2 rules that I look at. Will it at least make me $100 a month, or does it fit the 1% rule? And if it will do one of those, I will go in to look at it closer. That way I can look at deal after deal after deal without ever seeing it. I can just look at numbers, and if the numbers make sense a little bit, then I'll look closer. If they don't make sense, I will stop looking. Go ahead, and then Ben.
Is that like the medium, or is that like the bare minimum of what you're looking
Bare
at?
minimum, that's all. Yep, go ahead, Ben.
How do you find out what the going rate for rental properties is in the area that you're looking?
Yeah, it's super easy. You can get on Google and say property managers in Spanish Fork, Utah, or whatever the town is, and then call one and say, hey, what is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home? This is 1,800 square foot, basically rent for. They'll tell you. There's also government, Utah County has a lot of statistics you can look up online, but I love calling property managers saying, hey, think about buying this house. I wonder if I rented it, what would the rents be on that house if I decided to buy it? They'll tell you. They want you to have them manage it for you. So it's one thing I do. That help? Cool. Rehab costs, what brings in more money and what doesn't bring in more money. All I know is all those things listed up there are important. They're important. When you're rehabbing a house, new windows, new carpet, paint, doors, a laundry room, that all increases the value. What doesn't increase the value? Taking a garage and finishing it off as a family room, or making an extra bedroom and losing a garage. That can hurt value. Putting uber expensive carpet in a home, it just needs new carpet. New carpet's awesome. Sometimes you can put in a thicker pad and it's nice and soft, but thicker pads, 25 cents a square foot or a yard, something like that. And carpet is a lot more, nicer carpet. So just things to think about. I like this. This is my buddy Jason in Idaho, his name is Jason Anders. We've done a lot of real estate together. This is our 4 things we look at the most. When I'm looking at a home and I want to flip it or fix it up and then resell it, the mailbox. When people drive by a home, what's the closest thing to them? If the mailbox looks like crap, what are you planting a seed in their mind? Have you, I mean, man, that mailbox, it's tipped to the side, it's rusty, it's got, the bolts are falling off of it. No, spend $25 and put a brand new mailbox out there. The garage door, why would I say a brand new garage door is, if the garage door looks ugly, why would I say to replace it? If it works fine and it's just ugly, why would I say to replace it?
Big sign.
What's that?
It's a big sign.
It's a big sign. What takes up about sometimes 60% of a home? When you are at the street looking at a house, sometimes that, especially in Utah with these multi-level family homes, the garage is most of the home. And that home could be awesome inside. And if the garage is beat up and bent or dented or old, replace it. What's that? Psychology, yeah. Wow, this has curb appeal. It's probably taken care of inside. Look how nice it is on the outside. They may not even think that, but if they see a beat up garage door and a rusty old mailbox, I guarantee you what they're gonna think the inside is gonna probably look like. Where if they're nice, they may not even think anything. Which leads me to, well, carpet and paint goes without saying, but the 8-foot rule. I changed that from 4 feet to 8 feet. My buddy says 4 feet. I'm like, I go 8 feet. When you're standing on a porch and you're the potential buyer of your home and it's your flip that you're selling and someone comes to stand on your property to go look in your house, you better make sure the 8 feet around that house are awesome. Now, while you're waiting for you to answer it, or they're waiting for the realtor to unlock the box, they're looking at it and they're like, oh my gosh, look at all the spider webs. Look at the weeds hanging off the rain gutter or the leaves. That's the part you want to make sure is excellent. The windows are caulked. The trim is painted nice, because you're just setting an expectation that the house is nice. And then when you go in and you find new paint, new carpet, you exceed their expectations instead of have them wondering what's wrong with the house before they step inside the house. Does that make sense? Just some good food for thought. Exit strategies. I'm down to 14 minutes. I got to hurry. There's long-term and there's short-term strategies. And that's where we have massive income and passive income. Long-term strategies are more passive income strategies. Short-term strategies are more massive income strategies. Long-term buy and hold, 3 to 5 years. I don't do 30-year holds, but because homes wear out, and my pure goal would be a 10-year hold on a home. 3 to 5 years, 7 to 10. But that's still long-term in my view. Short-term is just flipping houses, signing contracts, doing a rehab, wholesaling a deal. Just perspective to give you ideas on what is out there, because there's so much out there that you could take advantage of. Wait for the snap of the camera before I click the slide. You ready? Okay, now. So here's some books I recommend. This is just, if you do not read these books and you're not a reader, get them on audiobook. Chris Crone's book, The Conscious Creator, if you have not read that book or heard the audio, I encourage you to do so. The Jackrabbit Factor, has anyone heard of that book by Leslie Householder? That book changed my whole way of thinking. When I read that book in 2005, and my buddy Jason Andrus, we were in Idaho doing our own investing. I got my real estate license, he got his mortgage license, and we did a little radio show, which is another story. And we just branded ourselves as experts that can help people do real estate. And our test to see if we even wanted to work with them is we would give them the copy of the Jackrabbit Factor. So you ever heard of this book? And they would say no, because not many did back in 2005. Say, read that book. And I would give it to them, an autograph by Leslie Householder. And if you like what you read, and if it resonates with you, come back and we will talk. If it doesn't, I don't want to do business with you. So I'm doing two things. I'm not being a jerk either. Maybe I sound like a jerk, but I'm wanting to work with people that have a mindset that I want to work with. And the Jackrabbit Factor is a lot like Chris's book, The Conscious Creator. It shares a story, and if that story that would be of abundance and not of complaining and negative and competitive and yuck, how I used to think. So the Jackrabbit Factor, I'd give everyone, of course, The Science of Getting Rich, which is a very good book. That's not by Napoleon Hill. That is Think and Grow Rich. Who wrote The Science of Getting Rich? Wallace Wattles. Typo. These titles.
Typo on the author or the name of the book?
The name of the book, Science of Getting Rich, is a good one. and that's by Wallace Wattles. And then Napoleon Hill's book is Think and Grow Rich, which is what I like both of them. Think and Grow Rich is a long read and very good. Get the audiobook. The Science of Getting Rich is a one-day read, and it is excellent. And then, of course, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, if you've not heard of it, I recommend you read it. It's a lot about real estate, and it plants seeds in your mind about real estate. That's funny, though, that Jason Andrus, I borrowed his slide on this. I just realized that he's got those authors mixed up with the title. Yeah. Okay, here's my disclaimers. And then I'm going to tell you about this community. I have 11 minutes. The market changes constantly. True or false? It's true. Investors can make money in any market. True? True. Investors can lose money in any market. True? True. Ask me how I know both of those, because I have done both of those. I encourage you to invest in yourself. The most expensive real estate, I wouldn't say expensive, the most valuable real estate in the world is 6 inches wide. That is a very valuable real estate. Invest in you. That's why you're here at the Connection Intensive. That's why you go to Limitless. You're investing in you. Well, if you want to get into real estate and learn, invest in you to learn real estate and get yourself educated and get yourself trained and seek mentorship. Because if you do, you are really putting yourself on a path to have more success than you are failures. I don't say, hey, get educated, join our community, and you will have nothing but awesomeness in real estate. No, real estate sucks. It's kind of hard. Real estate's kind of awesome and kind of easy. It just depends. And every deal is different. But I will tell you this, 2 people can see the very same deal, and 2 people can see the opportunity and know just how that deal can make $20,000 and know how to put the whole thing together. And one person at the end of the day may choose for whatever reason to let fear get in their way, and they back away and they don't do it. And another person sees this same scenario, knows the same way to put it together, and has the same ideas on making $20,000, and that person moves forward in faith and does the deal. And what is the difference between those 2 people? Yeah, one makes money. It's here. That's the difference. So when I say real estate is 90% mindset and 10%, I literally had a friend in Idaho that I found this house for him. I was an agent. I'm like, this house would make a great lease to own. And she found a tenant or make $300 a month cash flow. At the end of the day, she got so scared. She's like, Gary, I don't dare do it. And I'm like, well, all I got to do is sign over to me. I'll do it. She's like, really, you'll do it? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And thankfully, she chose to do it, and she thanked me for many, many times since that she did it, because it was a do it that would have been okay. I would have done it. And if I wouldn't have done it, I would have found someone else in a day to do it, because it was a deal. And I'll find someone with the proper mindset that will take the action. Does that make sense? It really is mindset. So let's talk about this real quick with my 8 minutes and 2 seconds that I have. Now, 7 minutes and 58 seconds. I'm just looking at the wall. It's kind of fun. Okay, so they got a camera. They got a clock back there ticking for me. The Limitless Real Estate Community. Who's in the community? I know Delwyn is. You are, Preston. And you are. Yes, in the back. You got more. So this Limitless Real Estate Community is a community of like-minded investors. I want to talk about it. That was quick. What is the real estate community? What is the program? It is a growing community of real estate investors, like me, like you, who support and help each other to succeed. We get training, we get coaching, and we get educated on creative real estate investing strategies and practices. What do I mean by creative? I mean going out in the weeds and finding opportunities and deals, and going out, not plugging into Stromberg's Done For You program, but going out on your own and finding opportunities where you are. Networking with like-minded people who may find a deal, and someone else may have the money for it, and someone else may know the guy that can do all the fix-up, and partnerships can be struck up, or at least masterminding can be created, and encouragement can be given, and then deals can get done. This is what the program is. Now, that's kind of a lot to say, and what does all this mean? Oh, did you get your picture? There. I will let you. I have 6 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm making it. I only got a couple more slides. So that is a program Who's it for? It really is for the beginner. A lot of us in this room are the beginners. We said we're not in it fully, but we'd like to learn it. This is a perfect program for that. It's also for the financial reset, or the people who are restarting their path. What did I do? I've had a lot of experience, and I had a major financial reset. And this would be great for a person like that as well. Someone who's just getting started up again. It's for those with little money or little credit, which is a lot of people initially, especially when they're starting out. It's for the curious, because sometimes the curious get educated, trained, coached, mentored, and get into a network, and pretty soon the curious becomes serious, and the serious takes action, and the action takers get results, and results create wealth. That make sense? You could literally be someone curious, and this would be a great place for you to be. Continuous training. For those that like training and mentorship, this is the place to be, because it's brought to you on a silver platter with trainings. We'll talk about that on the next slide. Both massive and passive income strategies are taught and learned and masterminded and educated on and trained on in this community. So the details, what you get, look at that. Can you read it? It's kind of small. Monthly community events to train, to coach, to network, and to do deals, including field trips to actual deals in process. So this is a monthly event. We just had our first monthly event Tuesday, 2 days ago, at the Strongbrook office. Our next monthly event is July, I think, 26. I don't remember for sure. Is that right? July 26? It goes from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., an entire full day of not just someone standing up and blabbering. We sat in a half circle. We talked. We're masterminding opportunities. Next time we're coming, we're all bringing the results of our homework assignment that just got handed out, which is to go find vacant homes and find a way to talk to the owner. That's what we spent 2 days ago doing. How do you find a vacant home? Once you find a vacant home, how do you find the owner? Because it's a vacant home. But vacant homes are opportunities. Not always, but it can be. So we spent a half a day on that topic, among others. Best real estate deals. Every week, it's Tuesday at noon, from noon until 1 p.m. on Tuesdays. I'll get the number posted. You'll get it. I don't even have it with me. But you can write down. Tuesday at noon, we do our conference call, which is mentoring and training for about 20 minutes. Opens up for Q&A and wants and needs for people on the call. It's a prep for what's coming next week. And the beginning of it is follow-up for the commitments that were garnered on the week before. So this isn't just you're going to get on a call and go, oh, they're going to talk about what today. You're going to know what we're talking about before we talk about it. Then we're going to talk about it. And then we're going to have Q&A on it. And then we're going to tell you what we're going to talk about next week and give you an assignment or a challenge, not an assignment, a challenge. And then the next Tuesday, we're going to start up and we're going to follow up on the challenge. We're going to tell you what we're going to talk about, and then we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about, and then we're going to tell you what we're going to do next week and give you a challenge. And we're going to repeat this process every week. And we're going to do it with topics that follow and flow with each other. Does that make sense? Question?
Who conducts those calls?
Those calls are conducted by myself and Steve Earle and guests that will be coming on, like Chris Crone, Jason Andrus, Delwyn Davenport. We'll probably be sharing some thoughts on one of those topics on some seller financing experience. And it will be different topics and different content each week.
And did I catch you that we can do Q&A on that call?
The call will be opened up for Q&A.
Like,
Yes.
can we bring our specifics for our deals?
You can bring specifics on a deal, and we'll talk about it as with the expert and as a group. Yes. And this brings me to, is it the next piece? It may not be. What's the next one? Exclusive, closed Facebook community to network, share ideas, share deals, express your wants, express your needs. And who is on the Limitless Tribe Facebook page? By a show of hands. A lot of us. Who's in the inner circle? Who's on the inner circle? They have a closed Facebook page for just inner circle members. Do you find value with those Facebook pages? Do you find, like, the inner circle Facebook page, I see people post, man, I need a belief breakthrough in this, and I see 2 or 3 people say, well, call me or message me or give ideas, and people are just giving input to someone's experience that they're experiencing right then, and it just lights up with activity all day long. The tribe page, have you noticed the tribe page will get like 30, 40, 50, 100 posts a day by people in the tribe? Imagine a real estate Facebook page, closed only to members, that has got the educators pontificating, videos that are sharing, other people saying, in fact, someone today, Delwyn today, put on the Facebook page, you have someone that's looking to rent a home, they're willing to pay $1,400 a month, here's what they're looking for, here's the area they prefer, anyone know anyone? People type it up. Someone else got on the Facebook page today. Oh, I just found out we're renting, and this is a community member, we're renting, the landlord wants to sell the house, so we need to find a place to move. Here's what I'm looking for. And someone else piped up and made a question. Well, have you asked the landlord, is he willing to sell it as a seller financing? Is he willing to lease option it? If not, has he got it listed already? Are you willing to introduce him to one of our community realtors who could go help him and get it listed? Are you interested in, there's ways, and pretty soon people are commenting on how you can do a deal or get something figured out. Does that make sense? All about real estate. It can be very powerful. We go in there and we post suggestions. People post their wants, their needs, what they're looking for. Someone else said, I got this deal and I'm looking for money to finance it, and this is what the numbers look like. And Steve Earle himself got on there and commented, the CEO of Strongbrook, hey, I'm interested in funding this deal for you. This deal meets my parameters, and I'd like to look at it closer. That's what I mean by a community of like-minded investors. So if you have a call on Tuesday, that's great. Every week you get some answers, but imagine access on demand almost through a Facebook page where it says 0 in 9 seconds, man. So where you have access to this, would that be valuable? Yeah. It is extremely valuable. This is the whole reason when Chris and Steve Earle were telling me their idea of this and this entire community, and we came up with the idea of the Facebook page. I said, the Facebook page alone, that group alone, is worth all the money to be in this group. I like doing radio shows and podcasts just on my external stuff, and I join a Facebook group that's closed. I pay $1,200 just to be in it, to network with other people that do podcasts and radio shows. It's just a Facebook group, but it's 1,300 people that have radio shows. That's like, you want to be a guest on my show? I could be a guest on your show. You interview that guest, or you're doing this. How are you finding that? How do you do advertising? All these questions I want answers to. It's worth me paying $1,200 to access it in a heartbeat. And all I get is access to a Facebook page, and I pay $1,200 for a radio show that doesn't even make me money. But what does it do? It gives me enormous credibility and have a lot of fun doing it. And it's made connections that have made me money. Does that make sense? Anyway, food for thought. Oh, access. Well, okay, one more thing. Access to accelerated real estate investor trainings, live and in the Limitless network. And did I not have the 3-day? It's not even up there. We do, every quarter, we do a 3-day event where we go deep for 3 full days or more, but it will always be a minimum of 3, where we go deep on the content and we mastermind and we train and we teach and we educate. We bring in lawyers. We'll be bringing in financial attorneys. We'll bring in CPAs that teach legal strategies and tax strategies. We'll have people there that can give you the content and the training that you need so you know how to go out and further create your own successes. Does that make sense? And finally, we have Limitless Angels at our live events. Because how many people, and we had dealt with money breakthrough. They don't need a breakthrough on how to do a deal, but can you imagine how some people, this poor lady, she's like, I hear this, I see this, and she started getting emotional, but I don't know if I can start. I got these blocks that says I'm not good enough to do this, and angels are there to go in there and just go out in the other room and have a breakthrough session. That'd be powerful. If you've had a breakthrough session and you enjoyed it, it was very powerful. Did you have a comment, Ben? Okay. Don't go to auctions. No, I thought you raised your hand. I think that's it. A few of our results. I don't have time to go into the details. Mike Crouch and Houston Hope live in Houston, Texas. I think that's funny because his name is Houston and he lives in Houston. But by the way, this just shows that you can be part of this community. You do not need to live in Utah. We have community members in Idaho. We have them in Houston. We have them in several other states as well. Mike Crouch and Houston Hope, they found a deal because they've been driving for weeks in different routes, and they've knocked on many doors, vacant doors, and they finally found one that was vacant that had a for sale sign on it by a realtor that was so faded you could hardly read the number. Called the number and they would never answer, never return a call. So he calls me and says, Gary, I can't get a hold of this guy. I'm like, well, did you try knocking on a neighbor's door? That's a good idea. So he goes and knocks on the first neighbor's door, and the guy answers the door and says, oh, You're interested in that house? Let me tell you all about it. She's never going to sell. It's been for sale for like 2 years because of this, this, and this. She can't even rent it because of this, this, and this. People won't even rent it. She lives in San Antonio. The home's in Houston. That's like 3 hours away. But I got her name and her cell phone number. You need to call her. She'd probably love to sell you that house. Worked out good. So they found the house. They talked to the lady. They had a conversation. Turns out that the lady was willing. They were going to approach her and say, hey, let's do a seller financing. We want to rehab your house. And he's like $50,000 worth of work to it. Can I go for 2 minutes? Is that okay? Okay. And he's like $50,000 worth of work to it. How about, and so the lady's like, oh, I see. So you're going to fix it up. So I'll just keep making the house payment while you fix it. Is that right? And they're like, yeah. That's not what I would have told him. We would have said, we'll take over your payments. That's what I tell people. So it's no worries on your end. Don't worry. What's your payment? I'll take it over right now. If you'll just carry the mortgage, let me just make your payments. So I don't have to get a bank involved. Then I'll go find my own $50,000 and we're going to fix it up. And she's like, well, I'll just keep making the mortgage payments while you fix it, right? He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, and he goes, Gary, it gets even better. I'm like, it gets better? He goes, yeah, because then we told her we're going to get $50,000 to fix it. She's like, well, I have $25,000 in a home equity line of credit. I could probably let you use that $25,000, right? And then you'll have to find $20,000 more, and then that's half of it. And like, yeah, that'd make a good idea. So at the end of the day, when they sell it, after they fix it, they're going to make her a partner. They're going to give her what she was asking, actually $10,000 less than what she's asking. She was asking like $165, then it was $150, $125. Currently it was a $125. They offered her $115. She took it. But then they said, when we sell it, we're going to give you your $115, and then we're going to get our $50 back. $25 is yours, and $25 is ours to fix it. And after that, we're going to split the profits with you, 80%, 20%. She's like, that's fantastic. So this is a great deal. They got a home with no money out of their pocket. They've got to go find $25,000, and guess where they're looking to get this community from? The community. One person, I'm not mentioning names, but there's like 4 people talking to him now, and if they can come to terms, it'll work out. But someone might give him $20,000 or $15,000 or $25,000, et cetera, to fund it. And I'm like, well, give them a return. They live in a different state. They live in Utah or Idaho. And heck, if it was me, I don't have no problem giving them a couple $1,000 for using their money for 30 days. You're using private money, not hard money and not your own credit cards. If you got someone to give you $25,000 and you're going to go make $30,000 on the deal, give them their $25,000 back in 10%, $2,500. So they've got their money with you for 90 days. They made $2,500 on their money in 90 days. If you run that out for an entire year, that would have been $10,000 on their 20. That's huge for someone in our community that just had the cash but no deal to do anything with it. And they had the deal and they were lacking some cash. That make sense? This is the power of the community. And that is found on our Facebook page. This type of back and forthing. Could that be powerful? Yeah. So if this is something that is of interest to you, oh yeah, this is like, wow. So you need to get a strategy session if you want to be part of this community. You're familiar with the strategy session and what that is? You'll be able to sit down with one of the strategists. They'll kind of walk you through the program. The granddaddy package of this is a $25,000 investment, but which gives you unlimited access and lifetime membership to this community. And as a free bonus, it gets you unlimited access to Strongbrook's done-for-you model that they've been doing for 9 years and like almost $1 billion in real estate. You get access to their power team and all their inventory in all the markets that they do their real estate. It just comes with it. It's a big package program, and you get a very steep discount if you join this program. So though it does have a $25,000 price point, you need to talk to the strategist to find out how they can maybe customize it to work with your schedule or with your situation, because there are different ways that you can find your way into this. But in the grand scheme of things, it's a $25,000 entrance for life, just lifetime access. Would that be valuable? I don't know if it is to you, but it is to me. Because I can do a deal and make 20 grand. And I'm not going to sit here and say, you guys will do 4 deals your first year. But if you were able to find a way to do a deal in 6 months, would it be worth it? If a deal can make you 20,000 or 10? and the next year you did it before 1 year was up, you're able to do another one. Or maybe you only did one deal in 1 year, but the next year you're able to do 3 deals. You just start with one deal. Even if it's just lending or partnering with someone with a little bit of money and making $2,500, letting your money get used by someone else. Could have even been money that you got through your seed capital that you used to fund an inner circle purchase or something. There's money out there. Just giving you food for thoughts and ideas. Stromberg does it all, by the way. Are you familiar with Stromberg's Done For You program? If you're not, you just need to know that they do it all. They have programs where they go find the homes and they buy them and they fix them and they put property managers in place who put renters in it, and then they sell it to you all done. And they do it in markets that aren't here locally. They're where the markets make a lot of sense. And they just do it for you. And you have access to that with this program for life. And you can do as many properties as you ever would want to with them. That's just an example of properties that the last 1,000 deals that Stromberg's done for you. So we're talking about 2 things here with this real estate community with Limitless. It's go do it yourself and be in this community to learn how to and network with each other. And then when you want to and when you're ready, go partner with Stromberg doing it for you. And then do more on your own. And when you're ready, go get them to do another one for you, maybe in Orlando or one of their markets in Memphis or Indianapolis. So you just get access to everything through one portal. If that resonates with you, I encourage you to get a strategy session scheduled. And I know there's a folder at the back there, or a sign-in sheet to sign up for a strategy session. Just before you leave tonight, go get a strategy session. If you're watching online and you wanted to get a strategy session, just connect up with the company and call Stromberg and say, I want to get a strategy session for the Limitless real estate community, and then sit down and talk with them. John Marshall, James Schumann, etc. Any other questions? We can wrap up. You guys have been awesome. Thank you for staying tonight. Give yourselves a round of applause and we can all go home. You guys have been great. How late is it?
Oh, it's 8:40.
Oh man, I want to be done by 8:30. You guys were nice.
I missed the one website on the one that had all the books. It said these titles are available at.
That's an old, I didn't know that was there. It was called rabbitquest.com. Don't go there, it doesn't exist.
Oh, it doesn't?
It was one that Jason and I had a few years ago, and he still had it on that. I didn't notice it till I was talking. I'm like, it still says Rabbit Quest. We love the Jackrabbit Factor so much.